All right, looking at OP coin, optimism. Been a few days since I looked at this one as well. Can see that it didn't quite tank like all the other cryptos that I've been looking at, which is good in my mind. I didn't want it to move too much, but I did want it to move. Anytime price moves really quickly, it kind of just throws things off. I like when things move consistent, not just drop 30% overnight. It doesn't this is not good for trading. This is good for like its normal monthly projections. It's slowly moving back down, which is what I wanted to see. So breaking this down, we'll just reanalyze all this from I think it was probably 6 days ago I looked at this. So drew this out actually perfect, absolutely perfect. Wow. So I think I started drawing it when I was over here, but yeah, so price came down, rejected this zone, this 153 area. That's what we were looking to break. And so came down here, rejected again, pushed back up to this lower liquidity zone. So this was the initial upper liquidity zone. I can actually include these wicks as well. And so what happened is price came up right here and created a new liquidity zone, which is lower than this main one. So that was a good sign. And then came down, well, reject obviously, and then massive candle, massive 4-hour candle right through this zone, full close, completely, filled 153 here. And then price slowly broke through down and then came back up with this wick here, retested this entire area, and completely rejected, and then came back down. So now we're looking at this zone here where it initially did touch and now has pulled up from. So, and price is below this 4-hour moving average, so definitely bearish, still way below the daily. So super, super bearish and moving well. So now we're going to look for another short position now that these all cleared out. It is Sunday, keep in mind, so not a whole lot of market activity, but another thing I'm going to look at real quick is just this weekly candle. So this weekly candle is going to close in about 9 hours. You can see it's bearish, but it completely rejected a lot of prices here, including this zone here. This I think it was just shy of 140, yeah, just 140-ish zone, 137 kind of thing, with all these weekly candle wicks here, and you can actually extend it over, and you can see these ones came in as well once upon a time. So this was a significant zone, and price completely rejected it as of this week. So might be a sign that it wants to pull up a bit more. But looking at this, so 153 is irrelevant for now. Actually, no, we will leave this. No, because it's not really significant anymore, because it was only significant for that trade entry. But as far as like market structure, I'll delete this for now. You're looking at, so price is still bearish, it's way below this moving average. It has made a lower low here. It did actually break this zone, has pushed up against it, above it now, but initially did break it. So still bearish on this as of right now, and looking for an area for a possible trade entry. The first one that comes to mind is this area. You can see price rejected. This liquidity zone is right below the one that was actually broken right here. And then so price rejected here, pulled up a little bit, rejected again, rejected within the zone a couple times, then finally broke. You can see this wick just came in, just touched it, and this is kind of at your 150 mark. So I really like this right now because it's at a whole number. So looking at this, we'll mark it up here. You're looking at 150, 150, 150. So that's huge. Price is so far rejecting this 150 area. Might be creating a new liquidity zone right below this previous one here. This technically, and everyone can draw them a little bit different, but how I like to draw them is to get the wicks. So something like this would have been a previous liquidity zone because you got wick and wick, and now it might be creating a new one down here. So these are now your new wicks that you're working with. This is your new liquidity zone, and it just happens to be around a really nice whole number at $1.50 here. So would be still looking for a short position, and now because price broke this area, I consider this this liquidity area actually lower now, and it's lower and it's larger. So this is a pretty big area, and so what will most likely happen is price will come back down, test this area, and depending on where it closes at, let's say the daily candle comes down, let's say tomorrow's daily candle goes like this, and initially this zone is like this because we're basing it off these wicks here. So you got a liquidity zone from $1.37, we'll call it, all the way down to like $1.25. And then what'll happen is this candle, let's say, comes down, probably won't be today, but it'd be like maybe tomorrow. Let's say a big bearish candle tomorrow, pushes this zone all the way down, and then closes like right here. Then what would happen is this zone would now be like this. So it's pushing down this liquidity zone further and further. So that's what we're working with. But as of right now, we're looking for a short position back into this zone. So first thing is just something like this, but then you have to really narrow down your entries and also your monthly. I like to figure out my monthly ranges. So, but for these cryptocurrencies, they're kind of all over the place. So like this says it's done 57 cents already this month. It usually does $1. I highly doubt it's going to do $1 because it's only worth $1.50. So last month was 65 cents. Month before that was 66 cents. Month before that was 84 cents. So it's pretty much done its full monthly move. Might go a little bit further, but not too much. My real next target is this bottom zone here, right at $1.20. So I don't know if it'll do it this month. We only got roughly 10 days left of the month. So would be, I mean, it's possible, but kind of unlikely. So I'd just be looking for the next short position, which would be something like this. We did get a nice rejecting candle. It was bullish yesterday, but you can see more than half the candle is wick through this $1.50 zone. So I really like the $1.50. You can see we do have, so far, we have a potential higher, lower low, lower high based on this little segment here. So dropping this down to the 1 hour, you can see price actually rejected this 1 hour moving average and is rejecting out of this zone with a massive bearish candle. So if I look at this, there's a chance that if price breaks this area here, you're probably good to go for a short. So yeah, I mean, this area is pretty significant. So if price breaks $1.45, I would say breaks and holds below that on even a 1 hour. So we'll put a little marker here. 145. Come on. Breaks this 145 and holds, you're probably good to short it. And then I would keep my stop above this 150 zone, especially above this previous wick here. Granted, it is Sunday, so it's really not the best trading conditions. There's not enough liquidity. So if you wanted to wait till Monday morning to do it, I guess it really depends on your time zone. But Monday morning, my time, which is like, I think it's, well, this says UTC 6, so whatever that is for you, depending on where you live in the world. But so yeah, let price break this area, hit 145, close below it, at least on a 1 hour. That would tell me that there's significant structure. This will probably pull up again a little bit. So you got your new low, and then new lower high, and now you're looking for a new lower low, and then something like this. And this is where I would enter. This little area here is where I would enter. Let it break 145 and then retest, and that's your entry point. So actually, I'll leave that for now. We'll see how it plays out. So then, yeah, if you can enter there and then keep your stop above here, it's not the best risk to reward. I mean, you could even, if you wanted to, if you're going to use a stop loss, then you could even put it just above these previous wicks here. So it's not the best, but this is a decent, I think it's a decent trade. The risk to reward is not amazing, but I mean, if you can drop your stop to where I have it now, which is just above these 4 hour previous wicks, then you could still get a 5 risk to reward, which is pretty good. I think this zone here is definitely worth it. I think I think you can definitely make it to it. It's not the very bottom, but it'll be pretty close. And I think you got this nice whole number here at 125 that price is likely to gravitate towards if it wants to keep pulling down. The only thing is, so price, that's the thing with this weekly aspect. So price did heavily reject all these prices below it, but what's more than likely going to happen is because price is overall still very bearish via this moving average, you can tell, and this segment here made lower lows. I would still say this is bearish, even though there was huge rejection. And what's most likely to happen is next week, price is going to try to fill these prices again. So anytime there's a massive wick like this, usually price will try to refill it. So unless it's just overall, the wrong direction. So if this was, let's say, really bullish, then price might not fill these prices tomorrow, next week. But as of right now, price being very, very bearish, it's more than likely going to try at least filling those and probably break below, because it is still super bearish, right? I haven't seen any real bull momentum. You got all the other cryptocurrencies that are collapsing, even Bitcoin and stuff. So you got the US dollar, which is pushing up and gaining strength, which is going to push this down as well. So there's just not a lot of things in in OP's favor to make it go up. So I do think it's going to keep heading down. Might be slower now for the rest of the month. Might take the rest of the month to hit $1.25 here, but I think it could do it. And I think your best bet would be to short this if you're going to take a position, and then just wait for this precise entry here at breaking $1.45 and looking for a little retest here. And then you can see price is really struggling to break this zone, this $1.46 zone. And but as soon as it does, there is some good bearish momentum going into it. It did reject this moving average. Price is below this moving average, which is great. So I think it's just a matter of time before it breaks 145 and then retests, and you have your trade entry. So that is OP coin.